In the first quarter of game one, you came out in the zone, and Aaron was guarding James Harden for a little bit, and their matchups were a little bit different. What was kind of the thought process in that first quarter, and then settling more into what you went to midway through second quarter through the end of that game?
We're going to feel it out, try different things. That had nothing to do with them just walking into the paint and laying the ball in. That's not an adjustment. That's just us not being aggressive enough. But, no, we're going to change things up a lot. We'll do something different tonight at some point. You have to. You have to make them think a little bit and not just run script offense. They're too good. And we are too. And that's why they did different things to us. So, obviously not going to tell you what we're going to do, but we're definitely going to throw some things out there, change the matchups, change coverages also based around the fact that you want your guys to get to the end of the game. And they had enough to finish the game in overtime. So sometimes your adjustments are actually just trying to get guys through the game. They don't necessarily work for a 2-minute run, but you can't expect guys to do certain things for 48 minutes. It's just not possible on their end too. So, you'll see some different things, and some may work, some may not, but you have to try stuff against a team like this.
There was a play in the fourth quarter where Nikola pre-switched with Aaron. It was on like a sideline out of bounds.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was in relation to something he saw earlier in the game. How uncommon of a skill is that for a player to see something one time and be like, hey, let's make this pre-switch or this adjustment on the fly like that?
It's leadership and it's intelligence, IQ, actually paying attention. We watch a lot of film, looking at their late game stuff that we walked through maybe last Wednesday, and he recognizes the alignment, puts himself in a better position to help guard it, help his teammates out, and we go through all that stuff, and it's so much information to give players. Some guys, like the 3-time MVP, can take all that information, play 45 minutes, look at the alignment, change what we're doing because it's the right things, what we talked about, just another layer of how special a player he is.
Hey, the Clippers attempted the fewest catch-and-shoot threes in the league. They're good at shooting them when they get them, but they generally don't get a lot of those shots. How do you approach that from a defensive standpoint, knowing that it's not a shot they get often at all, but when they do get it, they're comfortable with it?
Yeah, they're very similar to us. We don't take a lot of three-point shots, but our set shooting numbers aren't bad because we create great ones. And I think that's a testament to what James and Kawhi can do, what Nikola and Jamal can do to create those kind of shots. Sometimes you have to live with it to take away the paint because they're so effective getting downhill like that. Similar to us. We'll get 60, 70, 80 in the paint if you're going to let us do that. And we're not going to kick it out to a wide-open shooter because we're so dominant down there. So, you have to test the temperature of people. It's sometimes you kind of hold your breath, when you're in, you're trying to stop a great player, and he kicks it to, a very capable NBA shooter. And you have to feel it out. If guys get it going, then you have to change your defense a little bit, be more active to get back out. But, to answer your question, I think it's just kind of the flow of the game. And, we've had games this year where we attempt 18 threes in a game. But I looked back, and the 18 that we shot were great shots. And I think they're very similar. When you bring multiple bodies to great players, that's going to distribute out, and those shots are going to be great shots, which means your percentage goes up. So we both kind of have that issue, to be honest. We're both dealing with it.
When players dive for loose balls, it doesn't show up in the box score, but when the best player on the planet does it and then CB does it and it's a game kind of altering play, how imperative is it for everyone to buy in and make those sacrifices for stats that don't necessarily show up in the box score but are winning plays?
Yeah, it's how you win games. Especially games like this. I've always laughed at people say our guys don't play hard in the NBA. Try traveling, playing 4 games a week, sometimes 5, and then tell Nikola to jump on the floor in Milwaukee in December. That's ridiculous. College kids play 2 games a week. It's a different kind of thing. So this game is different. We've had rest. They're putting their body on the line. You're not trying to get them through the season to be in this moment. We are literally in the moment. And you could see it out there. Not just us, them. They were all over the floor. There's a play where Nikola dove, and I think he took out a few guys, and Chris Dunn and him are on the floor, and they're getting back up, trying to get back into play. That's playoff basketball. That's the way it is. The physicality is different. Your effort level has to be different. And to see your best player, in my opinion, the best player in the world, do that, it says a lot about him as a leader. And obviously, Christian does that all night. Every night. I don't know how he got through the season the way he plays. He plays like he has 5 days off every game. So CB is a special, special animal that way.
Coach, I know that we've asked you a lot about Michael Porter over this week. Just how much with the matchups that they are putting out there, oftentimes they're putting Kawhi on him, oftentimes they're putting an elite perimeter defender on him. How much of his matchup and his success is just dictating that matchup and forcing them to kind of make that adjustment? And then how much do you fight through it versus kind of spacing?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Mike on both ends, everybody's dealing with different stuff in the series. You're going to see adjustments, who guards him. I know Kawhi was on him early, which it's tough to go there and attack Kawhi Leonard. But you can space knowing that Kawhi is an active defender, and you can do things correctly, and you'll find shots that way just by not being involved. I really mean that. And then when he gets matchups, and I have to do a better job trying to get him free and get him looks. He's a world-class shooter. He's one of the best shooters I've ever seen. That's on me. But I think on the defensive end, you got to be engaged. And you just talked about the open threes we give up. If we're going to take away the paint, and your responsibility as a low man is to impact Zubac as he rolls the rim, then you got to do that. Not just him, everybody. And if you can't do that, I can't keep you in the game. Because James Harden's too good in pick and roll, and Zubac is going to catch the ball, and it's all about effort, physicality, and the rotations behind it. And every man is going to react to the next man. If I do my job at a high level, I'm right behind you doing the same thing. And Michael, that's the expectation for him and all the guys out there, that are going to play in this game. And the guys that didn't play last game, the expectation is the same for them if they come in. So that's my expectation of Michael and the rest of the team.
Coach, how quickly can you tell if a player's engaged or not engaged in a game?
I don't think it's a mind thing. I think it's just the physicality. And it's also, nothing to me stands out more than, when we're not taking fouls, or we're not physical at the basket, or we're not taking chances to attack the ball. That can be an individual thing. I thought it was a team thing in the first quarter. We talked about the adjustments and all this stuff and the coverages, but I didn't think we were ready to roll defensively. And maybe it was the first 5 minutes was really an interesting 5 where they scored, we scored, and then all of a sudden we weren't scoring and they still were scoring. And you can't fall into that in the playoffs. These games are what they are. They're going to slow down. The possessions are going to be longer. You have to find a way to get your mind ready defensively from the tip. And I thought we just flowed with them. And then they took it to a different level, and then we finally matched it, and I thought surpassed it, late in the game.
David, obviously the Clippers threw a lot of different looks at Nikola. There are also plenty of possessions where Zubac was, guarding them pretty straight up, pretty physical with him. How did you feel about the way that they kind of approached guarding Nikola in that first matchup, and how he handled that matchup with Zubac?
I was not surprised. I mean, we've seen everything that they did. Sometimes what you do is based on your personnel, how successful you are. Obviously, Zubac he is physical. He's one of the best defensive bigs in the league. It makes sense to let him guard him sometimes. I thought we did a great job when they decided to assign, meaning they doubled off different areas of the floor. We found cutters for layups late in the game. That's the expectation. And if they're going to take away those cutters, then the weak side 3 is going to be open. We have to take advantage of that. And again, Nikola was so patient like he always is. And I think I said it yesterday. He had 9 assists. He could have had 16, 17 assists. So you just have to be okay with that. And the reason why we won the game is because Aaron, CB, and Russ made enormous shots because we kept cutting, sticking to the game plan, being patient, take care of the ball, take the shots that are available. If we do that, we're going to be in it at the end of the game. That's all we want, a chance to win.